try and do my. Oh,
That's new.
Wow.
that is new.
What
gonna
happened
continue.
there? What
don't know.
happened in the world where that's needed? Now, I don't know if the people out there heard that. Maybe it's just for the three of us.
Oh, that's great.
But holy shit, Zoom, for the first time ever, just spoke to us that this meeting is being recorded, which means shit's been going down on Zoom privately.
That makes sense. Like for all those meetings, people who are caught like going to the bathroom or whatever, like they probably didn't know they were being recorded. That's why that clip made it to the internet.
Or some guy who doesn't have a good phone tried to record sex on Zoom. So he set up his laptop and aimed it. Women were just like, dude, don't record this. How am I recording? It's just my laptop. I just had a Zoom meeting. Why is there a background between them behind us? Why are we fucking on a green screen?
Did you see that video where the guy was in court? And
No.
His name was like Anal Master 3000 or something.
Oh, he had to do Zoom court?
Yeah, and the judge was like, he's like, do you have a problem? The guy had no idea. He's like, what are you talking about? Like he must have been using someone else's computer or something. Like,
Nice.
That's
it's fucking. I'll
great.
dig it up and send it to you.
He did court from home?
Yeah, you could do court from home now. Well, yeah, they're trying to get you to
Home
do
court advantage.
Well, I'm not gonna get too much into my
Yeah,
shit.
I said
but
that.
I was gonna say, and I heard you, but like, most of the courts are doing Zoom at the courts. You're just not going into the courtroom. You're going into another room from there and doing it. But I didn't know they're letting them just be home. Like the whole point is you're still supposed to make your appearance.
Yeah, I've heard a bunch of this, and my parents actually had to do it too because they were getting sued by former clients, and the tenants never showed up. I mean, so they just won.
Yeah,
Nice.
that happens a lot.
Haven't they basically been doing Zoom with like people, like with prisoners forever? They just used old timey cameras to do it.
They just use glass.
Now it's like legit better.
It's real glass and stuff. You know, like when you go to visit someone in prison, they're behind
Do
glass.
the window love thing like in Half Baked.
Yeah, it's like Zoom, but like before Zoom.
Yeah. I mean, I think everything was Zoom before Zoom. Zoom just called it that. Skype was Zoom before Zoom, and Skype's still Skype.
Zoom before Zoom was real life.
Okay, I'll say it like this then. Prison visits are the original video calls. The original screen, face-to-face screen.
Well, then confession is the original prison visit.
What came first, prison or confession?
Oh, confession, because the Catholics didn't lock you up if you didn't do what they said. Yeah, oh God, yeah. Catholic Church is evil, baby. They are. But that's not what we're talking about.
Have either of you ever been to confession?
Have I?
Yeah, either
Oh
of you.
God, a million times.
Yeah.
Really? I've never done
I was
it.
raised super Catholic. I had to go.
I think I was supposed to be Catholic, but I never did confession.
Yeah,
what do you
I
do?
had to go. I remember the first I had to go. It's fucking terrifying because you have to go in this little booth and the priest is talking. You're told what to say, and then you say things, but you're afraid to say what your bad things are. You know, you're like, because you're a kid, it's not really bad, but you don't know what bad is. Like, and you're telling the priest, and you're like, you've been told to like respect this person, and then you go in a little room and they're just like, yeah. Obviously, they're not really listening. They have to do like 30 fucking kids, and they don't give a shit. But like, you're like, oh my God, I'm telling this person I was bad. Like, I didn't listen to my mom or something, like shit like that. And then they make you go pray. And like, I remember the big thing was we had to do it with our CCD class. We had to come back out and do it, and then we were all going to each other. How many Hail Marys did you have to do? How and then one kid's like, we're all like, yeah, we had to do like 2 Our Fathers and 3 Hail Marys, something like that. And one kid's like, I had to do like 10 of each. Like, what the hell did you do? And this kid, I probably shouldn't say his name, was Dave Calafiore. And I guess Dave told the priest that he jerks off a whole bunch. He's like, I just don't stop masturbating. And he's like, well, you're not supposed to do that in the eyes of God. He goes, God's watching. He's like, I got a blanket over me. And he had told us, he goes, and he was freaking out. He's like, I can't believe I knew I had to tell him the truth. He said, tell him anything. I told him. He got real mad. He's like,
I'd be real impressed if you could hit God in the eye.
You know what we could do? I got an idea for a topic for a show since we're in
literally just, I mean, could have been a great topic, but okay.
Yeah, no, talk about that. We could talk about the 7 sacraments or whatever they are, and we could like debunk them, like first communion, baptism, marriage. You know, we could talk about all that.
We kind of did marriage, but I guess we could do that. I mean,
I mean, we could briefly talk. We don't have to talk.
I don't even
focus
think I
on
have to get
marriage
that
heavily,
deep
but
into it. I think literally, I mean, Brandon, you and I alone, and Dave, I guess a little bit talking about being raised by what, like how it was a theme or
Mostly
not a theme
TV.
in your life. Like it was very important. There were times in my life where church was super important to my family. Therefore, I had to go. There was a small period in time where church was important to me because I was in a dark place and I wanted to go. And there's a time where I just was like, I don't want to go at all. But that's flipped back and forth many different times. But there was one time where it's like every Sunday, no matter what, I was at church. Like it was only for like an hour and a half or so. And at one point it was like, 45 minutes. As soon as you could leave, you could leave. And then when my dad took it serious, my dad was bringing us because his dad brought him and his mom brought him. So he just did it because he felt like he had to. And then at one point when he quit drinking and felt like it was his thing and he found God, like for real, even though he was already Catholic, he became a devout real one. Then it was like, fuck it. We all have to go to church every fucking Sunday. He still goes to this day, every Saturday at 4:00. But we had to go no matter what all the fucking time. And like, and you wake up early and go to the fucking church and sit there and be like, this stinks. Like, I don't care about this. It's like,
yeah, he quit drinking and got addicted to Jesus.
yeah. I mean, that's a real thing. I mean, that's happens to many people.
The rule in
how
my
do you
house,
cure an addict? Most ways you give them another addiction.
Another addiction. The rule in my house was you had to, once you hit first grade, you had to go to church. Like that was the whole thing. That's how I started going to church. And I used to ride the bus with this girl who'd be like, I have all these books from CCD class and you're in my CCD class. And I was like, what's CCD? Like, I just thought, I had no idea where it was, how she knew I was supposed to be in it, where I was supposed to go for it. So I didn't do any of the things you're supposed to do to get to church, except just start going to church. And then at one point we all just stopped.
Fucking signed you up for it?
I don't know.
Well, your parents have to.
Probably.
Just, then why didn't they tell you when to go? Why were your parents? Oh, your mom was out gambling.
Yeah, pretty much. My parents were like, well, that's the thing is around that time, there was a good stretch of time when everybody was, well, I thought they were working, but my mom might have been making a trip to the casino, but
the Holy Roller.
Her job was a slot jockey. Yeah, there was.
I don't like calling your mom a slot. I felt bad even making the one joke, but slot jockey just sounds horrible.
I've called a lot of moms a lot of bad different things, but slot jockey, that's where I draw the line.
She was on her backgammon. I don't know. Backgammon gambling game.
She was all in. Oh no, that was her boyfriend. She was all in.
Her vagina.
She was with the blackjack.
Blackjack. It craps out at 21. No, I don't know what that means.
She just went into a room with the blackjack.
Poker.
Gentleman's name.
Poker in the front, liquor in the rear. That's the old bit, right? It's like,
what
was that story?
I wish I knew more gambling games.
Yeah, gambling games.
No, I don't even know what you do. Do you play dice at the casino?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Craps.
Yeah, I call it craps.
Which is what people took on your mom's chest when she owed them money.
It depends on your definition of dice.
That's
is dice
not
a
craps.
person? Or...
That's steamers. That's different.
In your mom's game, cream pie gal, because
oh, gross. Oh, my microphone. What happened?
I don't know what's happening.
Am I still there?
Headphones. Yeah, it's probably your headphones.
I mean, I remember being a little kid and sitting there thinking I wasn't a big kid until I could get communion. Like that was a big deal. Like you had to sit there and everyone else got to get up and get the cracker. And you had to sit there and chill. And then when I got to it, my brother and sisters can't. It's like I get to walk up there with dad. I get to walk up there and with mom, and I get to go walk up and you go like this. I mean, when you're a kid, they made you go which you now know in the Catholic Church what they were doing. They're seeing whose mouth was sweet. I mean, you really think of they had little kids going out going put your tongue out. Let me see if your tongue can balance this. Does this bother you? Does this bother you at all?
No, don't bite it. Just take it into your mouth.
Take it in your mouth. Take the body of Christ into your mouth.
Hold it there and just let it dissolve on your tongue.
The priests use that opportunity to see who they want to get in the confession booth. Like, you need to go to confession.
Literally what I was just saying.
The one cool thing, that memory I have from church is that, so, at the end of the service, they do like, turn your neighbor and do peace be with you. And you'd shake everybody's hand, peace be with you. So my dad and I would always we'd wait. He would be the last person I shook hands with. and I'd say, peace be with you. And then I'd squeeze his hand. And then he'd say, peace be with you. And he'd squeeze my hand and I'd squeeze back. And we get into like a squeezing war to see who was stronger. My dad would fucking crush my hand because I was a little kid. And at some point he'd just be like, oh. So that's basically the one positive moment I have is getting my hand crushed.
I think the peace be with you was the moment that, because I went to Catholic school, so we'd go to mass often, like just during the week, they just walk us down there. That was like, instead of showing us a movie, the teacher would just walk us to mass when they were hungover, probably. So the peace be with you was our favorite part because we got to see all our friends. But as I got older and have to go to like friends functions and stuff, like baptisms, and I have to do the peace be with you, I'm like, I don't want to shake that fucking guy's hand behind me. I'm just like, ugh.
See, to me, it was the one time we were allowed to fucking talk because my dad was very church Nazi, where it was just like, shh, shh. And we had, at one point, it's me and my brother and my 4 sisters all sitting there crammed in one pew with my stepmom and my dad. It's like, we're going to chat. And when some of them are real little, and it's like, be quiet, be good. It's like, there's old people farting. There's people making noise. There's moron. Like my dad was one of the guys, but who would like to sing the songs out loud so you can hear them. It's like, you know, they were just, I know the words to the songs. I was like, yeah.
I knew none of the words. And the only song I used to take real seriously because I thought I knew the words was the Lamb of God song. And I'm sure everyone else did this too, but I used to sing Grant Us Fleece because that made a ton of sense.
Well, we didn't do that because after church, we would go back to my grandfather's house, lived on the beach. We would always say Grandpa's Beach. That was the thing we said afterwards. And we would laugh every time. We're done Grandpa's Beach. But like, that was the thing. But like, sign of peace thing or like shaking hands, I remember we would sit kind of in the same areas and throughout, when you get older, when a teenager, all you're doing is scouting the room to see if there's like a cute girl there. I mean, that's all you're doing because they're wearing dresses or whatever. When I was at a church in Cheshire, there was more attractive women than when I did with my dad in Derby. I mean, it's just how it worked. Like, there was a better breed of human in Cheshire than there was in Derby. So there wasn't much to look at. So Derby was more about with my sister. I entertained them by pointing out the weirdest looking people. Now, the problem was my dad, it was a very tight knit place. So my dad knew the whole church community. My dad at one point ran the men's club, ran the church festival every year. My dad was like basically like God in that church. Like when he got addicted, he became like, my dad has to manage everything. It's what it is. So he would manage church somehow and fucking took over a church.
Micromanaging.
It's like doing confessions on the side for everybody. Like
no, but seriously would like interact with people and let them know like his opinion on things when they were there. And I was
you should probably do 3 Hail Marys. That's a lot. That's excessive masturbation. Hey,
you guys wonder where when I go, like Dave sees it, I go to a comedy show, or Dion will laugh all the time, Brandon. Like I go to a comedy show and it's not being run right. He'll look at me and go do what you have to do. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna take over. Then the minute later, I'm in, well, listen, you should be doing this. It definitely the Pat Oates passed on straight from senior to junior. I have to come in and go, this needs to be corrected. This is not proper. I think Jesus had one more ab, so fix that. Where the fuck it would happen? Like my dad was running all the church dinners, running everything. And that was it.
Jesus had an odd number of abs.
That was a joke. This is a fun podcast to do. I've done 3 different jokes and both of you explained it for real to people. It's a good time. So, but the thing would be,
maybe you should get funnier jokes. I don't know. I'm just saying.
You know, you're right. You're right, Brandon. In this room, I definitely am the one. For sure.
Hey, I'm the funniest one on this podcast, according to our biggest fan. So I don't care.
Yeah. And if I had to flatter people so I could be part of their book, I would do it too. She's just lied. I'm funnier than both of you, and it's not even a question. We could have a joke off. We could do that. Tell what?
That hurt my feelings.
If you got to say it.
Dave, we were on the show on Sunday. How'd you do?
I don't have to tell anyone. I just do it.
I went out there. I did my job.
Brandon, you don't do it. I've been out a million shows that you don't. I mean, if you want to go there, you don't do it.
No, I'm saying I'm talking about this podcast. What?
No, the funny part. It's like
I was going back to the part where I made a joke about your expense, about the 3 jokes you made not being funny. It was a joke.
It was 4, and they were all brilliant. All 4.
Well, if you have to say it though, that's what I was saying. It might not be. I'm just saying.
I didn't have to say it.
I learned that the hard way. You just did.
No, I had to say it to you guys because you don't get jokes. Would you?
They were brilliant.
It's the last episode where you said everything goes over your head, so I thought we had to do that now.
Oh, okay.
Remember when you taught us that? We have to. You said your friends should tell you things.
Oh no, I said if things are super obvious, sometimes I have a blind spot for them.
Like my joke, which was super obvious.
Yeah, but Dave didn't laugh either. Is what I'm saying.
Yes,
That's why.
Dave actually. Dave stone faced me on purpose to be a dickhead.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
See, all I'm hearing is an excuses here.
No, you're not. I don't understand. That.
I'm
I
joking.
really don't. I think we have to break up.
I'm joking.
I don't think
God.
it's working. It's like,
These are jokes, everybody. Just so you
no,
know,
they're
I'm
not.
very rarely ever serious.
I don't. It's a struggle.
I'm busting her balls. I can put a light on when I'm busting your ball. I'll put my hand up.
Not my balls are busted. I'm telling you, from doing the podcast every week, and then the only one of us that actually listens back every week. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. Dave won't say anything because he sits there.
Oh, the struggle's real.
Trying to tell jokes.
But
they get tumbleweeded. Like the first joke I did at the beginning of the show, I did all thing and then you explained it for real. And it's just like, I don't know. I thought we were getting the Catholic. Are we doing white? What are we doing? White trash? What are we doing? Poor people? I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason.
We're making fun of Pat, and he's taking it real bad.
No,
more jokes, everybody. I'm joking. It's another. I was just joking. I know you're right. I know.
I wasn't taking anything.
I'm agreeing with you, but now I'm giving you shit back because I'm joking.
If you have to explain it.
Exactly. Maybe someone's a moron.
No, you're not getting it. I mean, no. No one's shitting. Right. I mean, if you were, I wouldn't care. It's not. It's tumbleweeds. We were doing a whole thing with the Catholic Church. I don't know. But anyway, maybe I need to find God. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I need to find God because there's got to be someone there that's doing this to me. I'm like Job. It's a Job episode.
Job.
So, Dave, did you go to church? Well, I forget.
Do you ever go to a born again Christian church?
No.
What?
Born again Christian church where they're like singing around and jumping and dancing. I went to one of those for a couple of years when I was like in 4th and 5th grade. It was fucking crazy.
I didn't go to a born again Christian, but I went to a Baptist church with a girl I was dating, and that is a whole level.
How was that?
Were they singing and doing in tongues and shit, like speaking in tongues or no?
Well, not in tongues, but there's singing. It's more interactive. They break off into groups. There's the young kids group in the middle of mass. Like you go off into your thing, and then masses are held in different sections, and everyone knows each other. And the Catholic Church does that more down south or more like away from the East Coast too. Like even Catholic Church, my uncle's church in Texas, we went there, and every person is like knowing all the families. So when you're walking in, it's almost like the first 20 minutes is just like when you're seeing your friends, but it's at church and catching up, and you're sitting next to groups of people. They all know each other from church. They're all church people. They do church activities afterwards. When I went to church, he's like, you went to church, you nodded, folks, you did the thing, but then you went off your separate ways. You didn't like fucking hang out with church people. But like Baptist group that when I was dating that girl, they were actually to the point where they were bothered that I wasn't that whatever kind of, I think it was, I don't know, Southern, but whatever other kind of Baptist it was, they were bothered that I wasn't. That was like a big deal.
Have either of you ever been to one of the mega churches?
No. I have family that's Mormon, and I didn't get to go to that, but I've been to a celebration. I was outside of it, but I've never been to one of the mega. I've driven by those ones in Texas when I was out there, but I didn't go in.
Brandon, what about you?
The church that I was at was a Berean Assemblies of God church. It's very mega church adjacent. It's the same kind of stuff that happens.
The what?
And it's called Berean Assemblies of God. So people that are listening might know, they've heard of Assemblies of God. But when I was younger, and I went to a couple of gatherings that you could consider like a mega church, like they were in giant auditoriums with all these people. Have you ever heard of Jimmy Swaggart? You remember that guy?
Yeah, dude.
I went and saw him live.
Did you really?
Yeah.
What was that like? Was that when did you catch the episode where he talked about cheating on his wife and cried in front of everybody?
Yeah, no, that was right before all then because he got caught with a hooker.
Yeah.
It was crazy. He was just out there like freaking out, going nuts. And, you know, it's funny because when I was younger, when he got caught and all that stuff, and I found out about religion, like certain things, I thought it was all bullshit. I figured I used to think all these people were just assholes and like charlatans. But at the end of the day, all those people show up and have a great time. It's like, it's on them. You know what I'm saying?
Wasn't Jimmy Swaggart cousins with Jerry Lee Lewis? Not Jerry Lee Lewis. Jerry Lewis, the piano player.
That's Jerry Lee Lewis.
I
think
Jerry
so.
Lee Lewis.
Jerry Lewis is the
right. Jerry Lewis is the
people that French people like.
Right.
There's definitely something there.
Jerry Lee Lewis fucked his cousin or something.
Yeah.
Not Jimmy Swaggart.
Yeah.
Jimmy Swaggart probably fucked his cousin too.
Jerry Lewis was married to Jimmy Swaggart.
Well, people that buy on board with the mega church thing, I mean, they're having a good time, but they're having a good time with the belief that they're going to get something because they've been promised it way harder than other churches do.
Oh
So
yeah.
if you get, it's like a cult almost in a way where like once they get away from it and they go, oh my God, I've given thousands of dollars to this guy because he said that that would make everything better. And it's like, no, I'm still poor. I'm actually poor because I gave that guy $1,000. So if you're happy as long as you're like most people, if you're in the cult, you're happy because you're just believing the cult shit. But if you get out or you notice or someone else exposed you to something else, you're like, holy shit, wait, you go to church, you don't have to give like your entire paycheck. You can just give them a quarter. It's like, yeah, you can just give them whatever you want. So like, yeah, there's not some pressure of some superpower. A guy becomes the god. That's the problem with the mega churches. That guy becomes the
I
Ronald
want to go to a
McDonald
mega
church.
church. I
What?
totally want to go to a mega church. I have no. I can't even
You ever watch
imagine what that's gonna be
700
like.
Club? I mean, my
No,
grandmother watched that when I was little, and
is that what that was?
Yeah, that's the
I
one.
never watched it. Like that's how I knew it was time to like cartoons were done. Is when the 700 Club came on.
I just know
Yeah,
it was on in my nana's room when I was little.
these preachers, they'll just talk all day and people listen, they get mystified by it. And it's the same thing you'll see like at a concert a lot of times, or sometimes even at a comedy show. That's why I really feel that it's on the people. Like the people are getting something out of it. And yeah, they're probably getting ripped off, a lot of them. I'm not saying it's a fair exchange, but it's hard to blame the guy who's doing it, because they'd be doing something.
I'll always blame the guy. No, and I get what you're saying. If they're having fun, that's fine, but I'll still always blame the guy. You can always make someone think they're having a good time. I mean, I was in relationships, so I thought I was having a good time for a long time, but I look back and I'm like, I was being duped. I was being sold a different horse. But
Oh yeah.
and that's the same thing with those stuff. I think at the end of the day, anyone who sits there and says they are like the voice of God or they have a direction, a direct voice to a God, that part makes it good. It's one thing to say, hey, I've read the word, I'm passing on the word, I'm the messenger of this word. I understand that. But to literally say to people, I spoke to God earlier and he told me that, and you, Phil, you now are going to be able to do this. And Phil's like, holy shit, that's great. And then he buys a new wing of the fucking place or buys the guy a Cadillac. And it's like, he didn't talk to God, man.
See,
just to help him believe in himself. Why
I'm
can't
the
you're such a motivational person? Why can't you just use that instead of fucking doing the God shit?
I'm exactly the opposite. If someone's telling me that they're interpreting the word of God, I'm like, you're slipping in shit that just you want to say. But if someone's like, I fucking talk to God, I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. I want to hear what this guy's got to say.
Why? He's
Because
still interpreting it. He's not.
Yeah, but because that dude's
crazy to think God speaks English.
Right, exactly. Because that dude's a fucking whack job. And no matter what, it's going to be great entertainment.
Maybe. I think it gets boring quick if you're not a believer. I think we're saying this. We see the certain things. Like, go watch Joel Osteen now. That's boring.
I don't even know who that is. Which guy's he?
First of all, excuse me?
Joel Osteen.
You know what? Then we have a mutual friend that's going to be very upset.
Is he the
guy Scott McDonald does an impression of?
Oh, okay. Does he have like big teeth? Yeah. Okay.
He's the guy now.
Jesus Christ. For the longest time.
Not Jesus Christ. Joel Osteen.
Yeah, he's like the new Jimmy Swaggart or something.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I thought he was like a Dr. Oz kind of health guy. I had no idea.
Joel Osteen?
Yeah, it forgot. Just every time I saw his face, I didn't put the names together. I'm like, oh, there's that dude who's going to tell me how to like,
dude,
I don't know, how keto is going to change my life.
Be duped by these people.
Are you kidding me? I would love to talk. I would love to talk to them. So what you're saying is that
they don't talk to you. Someone else talks to you. You don't get to talk. You get to talk to them,
dude.
They can't. It's the Wizard of Oz, dude. You don't talk to them.
They
speak, and then their people, their underlings, they're the ones who speak with you and tell you that I can maybe get you some time with them. But there isn't a lot of time.
Get you backstage God pass.
Yeah, without doubt. That's how they fuck women and do all that shit. It's like they're rock stars, bro.
Fuck yeah.
But you don't. You white Dave Hintz, you ain't getting in there.
I would just let them do their whole spiel and like let them talk for 45 minutes, and then at the end I'd be like, wait, I don't get it.
No, they wouldn't. You're not getting me. Unless you can sit in the chair and that's fine, but they're not gonna have a one-on-one with you.
Yeah, I know.
Unless if you donate a ton of money, then you get the one-on-one.
Well,
that even then, it's probably just a bunch of nonsense.
It's all nonsense. I mean, they're gonna be in there in a crazy suit. They're going to be sitting in this ridiculous chair. They have you sitting in a smaller chair. It's almost like an intimidation business meeting.
Wasn't that Sam Kinison? His father was a preacher, right? Yeah, and he was too, like very briefly.
Yeah, that's the story of Sam Kinison.
I met
So maybe this guy, maybe is there an example of a preacher that did the opposite way, like started in stand up and then became a preacher?
I'm guessing every black guy who fails at open mic.
Maybe Joel Osteen. Maybe we can find some of his open mic shit.
Are you kidding me? You find me a black guy who sucked in a Bridgeport open mic, and I find you a black preacher who has a church and a strip mall in fucking West Haven now.
Oh my God. We actually know someone who did that. I don't want to say his name, but I'm pretty sure he found God and he's starting a small church. Yep.
Pink Floyd?
No. I think
Just say his name. Why you
Joe Cook.
No, Joe's doing comedy.
Oh, he still is?
Yeah. Ben Ortiz just hit me up. He's like, I'm hoping I get to do Joe Cook's show Saturday.
Okay.
Like, are you on it? And he's like, he told me if I keep coming by, eventually let me on there.
I think Joe Cook is started like a ministry or a life is good thing that I somehow got on his list, and he sends me all this motivating God stuff.
Spiritual religious. Yeah, but he didn't like, leave one for the other. Our friend from the Bringer show, Dave, Dr. B. Dr. B has if you follow him on Facebook every Sunday has his ministry stuff. He's very charismatic, so I can definitely
forgot
see
about that.
Black people are charismatic. We can't debunk that. That is undebunkable. They are very good at just telling you about the Lord. And you know what? If I'm going to believe the Lord is talking to anybody, it's people that have been put through that much shit.
How about this? Who's the best at talking about the Lord?
Well, like,
what people are.
Once again, now I got to do it.
No, I think that's a good show.
No. I just did it with Brandon. Now I got to do it with you. Why can't there be a natural flow to a fucking show without two autistic people being on it?
I said
we were just doing it. You didn't have to say out loud the premise in a movie. Stop and go. This is the part of the movie where we find the monster. We were having the conversation. It would have naturally gone there.
Two things, Pat. One, I'm super excited and I'm joining in. Two,
you are joining in. You're narrating.
I want to make sure.
You're fucking Bob Saget.
I want to make sure it doesn't go over Brandon's head in his blind spot.
I saw in his eyes. He was on fucking board. He was there. He said it too. He goes, yeah, you're right. We can't debunk that. Boom. He was right there. I went into it and you're like, last week I'm debunked. It's like, we don't need that. Let a flow happen.
So flow. I think it might be
flow.
I think it might be the Jews.
Let it flow.
It's actually a group of people who refer to themselves as the Jews, or from their Khazarian tricksters is a better way to put it.
A what?
Khazarian trickster.
What the fuck is that?
Jesus Christ.
I'm looking that up.
Don't just.
Yeah, let's say a religion thing, but we could stay with that. I think that I would say that the craziest.
He's
religion,
looking it up. I can see in his dumb face. He's looking to like it.
I am looking it up. I don't even. All I got is Frankie Kazarian.
Here's the part of the podcast where Dave reads again.
I think the Mormons have the best. If I had to join an organized religion tomorrow, like to go to church and stuff, it'd be Mormonism, just because they're so fucking cool. You know what I mean? Like, I just join. Why not? Like,
but they do really stress. I mean, if you were on board with the community thing, you're going to embrace it, because they really stress community. They really stress that it's a full-time thing. It's not just on, you know what I mean? Like we know people.
Oh yeah, but I could be like a prophet, you know?
Right, but like Rodney Norman, stuff like that, that's their life. Like, they make sure they take care of everyone because that's their way. But also everyone knows that if you're down in the dumps, you could just hit up fucking hit up a fucking another Mormon and be like, I need money, and they'll just give you money. And it's like, you got to just deal with that. And the one thing I respect with the Catholic Church is there was so much guilt that you couldn't fucking tell anyone any of your problems. Or say anything, they make you feel like shit. So at least like you'd say it, and people are like, yeah, I go to that church too, and you shut up.
One of the ways that Mormonism is fucking brilliant, and I learned this from a dude I went to college with who was a Mormon, is the way it's set up is if one person in your family fucks up, the entire family's out and goes to hell.
Wow.
So you want to talk about guilt and pressure? Mormons have got a lock.
I know that's one of the, and I don't know a ton about Mormon stuff, but I have family that is in it. Like, I think I've said this before, but I have a uncle who was Catholic, and he married a woman who's my aunt now, that was Jewish, and they both decided to be neither one, and they became Mormon, which is a crazy combo, but they did that. And when I talked about it, I said how I went to go in their basement, they had all the food all lined up like crazy and stuff. But that some of that stuff isn't really true. There's some tales, like I think with everything in churches, that you hear some things like that. Like everything else, at the end of the day, God's a forgiving God, and as long as you, as a Mormon, give for your family, welcomes that person and tries to bring them back to see the light, then you're forgiven. Like everything else.
Look at
Like
it
how
up.
you think Google knows more than people. You can look it up. It's also going to say Epstein killed himself.
Do Mormons
think Epstein killed himself? Yeah.
I think the Amish are the ones that if I could somehow join the Amish community, I'd be like, all right, I'll do that.
If I could have been raised in it, like if I could have been born into it and not know what I know now, I think that's weirdly the healthiest lifestyle.
Oh yeah, I think I'm actually headed there weirdly because
except for the whole vitamin D and rickets thing.
I hardly even watch. Like I used to.
That's a puppet show they have there. It's called Vitamin D and rickets.
Coming to the stage next, Vitamin D and his puppet Ricketts. Oh no, it's Ricketts and his puppet Vitamin D.
Well, Brandon, you're headed there in some ways, but a big part is you like communicating with many parts of the world. I mean, that's where you learn a lot of things, and that's one thing the Amish don't do.
Oh yeah,
You know, 12 folk. You know what I mean? So that you'd hate that part.
Well, what I'm saying is though, if it happened, like say the grid went down, right, and we lost electricity or just the internet for something, I don't think we're gonna. I'm not like scaring people, but if we did, I think I would be okay with it. You know, I'd just be like, all right.
Well, yeah, but that's not Amish. That's just dealing. Like my
Forced
power
Amish.
goes out because I don't pay my UI bill. I'm not Amish.
Forced Amish. This week on Forced Amish.
That would be the smoothest line. You're in the middle of a date, your power goes out, and she's like, "What the hell just happened?" Oh, I'm Amish, baby.
I'm Amish, baby.
I'm Amish, baby.
You want some butter on that bread? Give me 5 hours.
I just converted. Today on Forced Amish, we're boiling our rainwater so we could have a drink of water in the middle of the night.
Hey, in your pants, it looks like you're pitching a tent. Excuse me? It's called raising a barn. I'm Amish.
How long do you think you could do Amish?
Amish style is doggy style. Because there's no way they'll let missionaries there.
I used to love that movie with Harrison Ford, The Witness, the Amish. I would think about it I'm like, I could do that. And I think you're right. If I was raised that way, or even when I was younger, like if I was moved out of my house.
Right. But I really think you have to raise that way. Because think about what happens to them all the time. That when they get a chance to leave and they get that, I forget the name of the thing. Bobby.
Rumspringa.
Yeah, Bobby talks about my other pockets. Bobby lives right.
They go back.
And some of them do, but some of them it's not the same. And then they even say like it's very hard because you get that exposure. It's kind of like M. Night Shyamalan's movie, The Village, whatever. It's like where it's like that thing where you could, if you're just put in there in the rest of the world, you don't know the rest of the world exists, then you could live a normal lifestyle, but you're very dependent on people that there could be power trips and things like that you have no chance in life with. I like the ability to be able to reach out and find out new things. I would get I think a lot of people, creative people, get very bored very quick if you can't learn new things. You can't, you're just raised it's 12 things. You learned them, you did them, and you're real good at them. Like they love baseball because they could build a bat. They could whittle it for years. They're real good at baseball. Because that's what they do. They got a lot of field. They got a lot of they got bats and balls. They make their own fucking ball.
And do you know why they do the Rumspringa? I was actually just looking into this recently. Somebody's talking about it.
Well, you can explain it. On my other podcast, Bobby talks about it because he lives right near them. So.
Well, basically, it's so they know that the temptation of the world. It's like when Christ had his temptation with the devil, and the devil showed him all the world and said, "You can have any of this. You just say it, just name it." And so this way you don't have any lingering doubts. You get out there. So the ones who come back are the true ones. That's why they do it, because then they know they could count on them. They know that they're not going to be fall victim to the temptation of the world.
And in a community where the sins are just minor, it's very easy to learn how not to sin. Don't be caught this year because Jebediah will see you at the barn. So don't smoke tobacco in front of Jebediah's barn. It's very easy. So another way to really test who you are is let's put you in a situation that you've never been in. Will your values stay? Will your values to your family and to your Lord stay there if you get exposed to people that aren't that? the people that have been sinning, the tempters, and you go out to them, and then you stay in your ways and come back, and are you okay? And I know that this is a part they don't say, but you also, once you're exposed to a little bit of technology, once you're exposed to a little bit of modernism, you can bring a new idea to an old thing, and that's what helps them stay alive. Like, not that they bring the technology part, but they see little things and go, I've now seen this thing, so maybe we can add this to a new door handle, and we make them and sell them. It looks like that. So that kind of helped to stay in the modern times. You kind of want to see it so you can sell it to them. So the exposure helps in that way.
There's also the bullshit of, I mean, they're literally facing health problems because of their gene pool narrowing. So they have things like they have problems with jaundice, they have problems with rickets. So they're using they use grow lights to get more vitamin D. Well, that's electricity, and that's something they didn't invent. So
where'd you hear that, Dave?
Oh, it was an article a long time ago.
Was it a Khazarian trickster that wrote that article?
So, first of all, if you're not explaining Kazarian, the only thing I found was some fucking wrestler, Frankie Kazarian. So I don't know if you guys
he's the best. He's an AEW.
How is that? That's the Jesus guy?
I'll give you the long and the short of it. The Khazarians were a group of people in Central Europe somewhere, and they all converted basically to Judaism, and that's where a lot of the modern line of people who call themselves Jews come from. So they were just converted. So it's kind of a funny thing to point out, but they don't like to talk about it. So that's why it's not on the internet that much, but you can find it. Go on DuckDuckGo.
Oh, yeah. I was using Google like a fucking.
That's why when everybody blames the Jews, it's such a cop out because it's not even people. It's just certain, and at the end of the day,
Azaria.
Yeah, exactly. And at the end of the day, kind of like I was saying about the people who go to these huge churches that, yeah, the blame should be on the preacher, but it's also on the people for going. It's like takes two to tango kind of thing. So I mean, unless you're retarded,
that's true.
Then I get it, But
the Amish don't tango.
But I like what you're saying about the Amish. That's very interesting with the new ideas and stuff, bringing them back in.
What's the difference between an Amish person and a Mennonite?
Oh, I did want to say something really quick, but I can answer that. It's just like a separate religious belief. And then some of the Mennonites, they have like they could drive cars and have electricity sometimes or have gas. It's different. Where the Amish, I'm pretty sure, pretty just, right off the land. But the Amish believe, this is a real belief in a lot of the religion. Like even in Christianity, they say God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. And what they mean by the world is Babylon, which is just, think of society and the way that we live in a city versus the way people can live naturally. And that's just living according to nature. And I'm not saying any way is right or wrong. You could kind of live both those ways if you realize it and there's a balance. I feel a lot of people that are stuck and they have a lot of, you get a lot of mental issues and stuff. It's because they're not going along with nature. They're just in that city mindset so much and they're just getting wound up. And I feel like the Amish want to live the other way more, but they'll send people to see the city just to get an idea of what that lifestyle is. And I feel like you could do a balance. That's really what I'm trying to do. And it's like the yin and the yang where there's the black and the white, and you could live your life according to both, depending on what sits, what the way I do it is what fits the situation the best. And as far as like myself, obviously individually, and then I got to look at people around me too. So it's like a balance, sometimes I have to not wear a mask and piss people off because it's just how I feel, it's like my belief. And then other times I'll just go with the flow and do what people want, so it's like that. But whereas the Amish are always just going to be doing that nature thing. And then they see the people in the city as like total crazy, where the people in the city see them as crazy. It's really interesting.
I feel like the Amish should just watch reruns of Green Acres to get a real sense of what happens with city people and country folk collide.
When you said yin and yang, it reminded me, this has nothing to do with fucking anything, but I was going to the show on Saturday I had, and Dion was with me, and he likes to look at license plate. Whenever he sees license plates, he doesn't have any kind of words even close to, he tries to figure out what the fuck it means, like why these people would put this on their fucking license plate. And I always enjoy that. And there was one on the side, and it said the J-U-N-G, so Jung, and then love. And he looks in the car and goes, bullshit, it's two white people in there. He goes, that's not jungle love. You can't just be driving around. They borrow someone else's car. And I look again, I go, maybe it's young love. Maybe
Yeah.
one of them's Asian and we can't see. Now we're driving by the car, staring again. He's like, that guy's not Asian. I go, well, maybe his last name is Young or Jung.
Maybe it's
just their
Carl
mom.
Jung.
Yeah, he's a psychiatrist. It's Jung Love.
Jung Love. And we broke all that down, and then I think we almost crashed 3 times while trying to stare at these people to
I was
figure out
wondering
what
that.
the fuck they have on their license plate.
That's great. Not this is a little off subject, but have you been going to any open mics or anything?
We have a subject.
We did the Amish for like 20 fucking minutes, bro.
Dude, we
Do you think
started
the
on
Amish have open
we started
mics?
on
Maybe
pores.
that's what they need. I think if we could bring open mics to the Amish people, that would solve the one
They
thing.
have them.
Do they
I'm not
really?
kidding. Like literally, when I'm talking about this, my last podcast, my other one, Bobby Tamburo, that whole area, that whole place, Lancaster, all that stuff, they're that close. They're like 5 miles away, not even. Like they literally ride their horse and buggies to like his Dick's Sporting Goods where he works. They go by the
that's
open
awesome.
mics. They all know where all that. They
No
know
shit.
all the Mennonites. That's what I'm saying. I've talked about this before on it. So your Ricketts thing isn't really as true as like Google has put it out in articles. They're
God
pretty
damn you,
healthy
Google.
people for the most part. You can choose any part of our society and say we're all dying too. Like,
Oh yeah.
oh my God, everyone's outside. Well, no, that's the homeless. It's not everyone. That's just the homeless people. It's like everyone doesn't have a dad. Like not just the people in Bridgeport. It's like it's not everybody. It's just them. But yeah, I think like anything else, they do have open mic. They without microphones. They entertain themselves with putting on little shows and things. And I'm sure there's some guy who tells jokes about the people in the village. It just gotta be like every place has that storyteller. He's like, remember that time that Ezekiel was caught with his pants down while doing the boat? And we all saw Ezekiel's trousers, and they're like,
That's where I get it. So when you said black people who fail at comedy go become preachers, white people they go become fucking Amish comedians.
Yeah, it goes so bad that they just decide to leave everything. Like,
and then no one could record it.
Stage do so poorly that they should just leave everything, leave technology. Because they posted so many of their videos up that are so bad, they should never be able to see them again and just become Amish.
Do you think the Amish just rip on us all the time? Did you hear about the Christian who wanted to take a roll in the hay, but all he could find was barley?
That would mean they know about us. But how do they know about us if they're fucking just chilling?
Well, if they're going to our open mics.
Not our
They know a lot about dicks.
No, to answer that question, I have not been to an open mic. I've been using stage time just to open my shit up, making my own stuff, but I have not gone to any. But I know people have been going. Like Ben Ortiz does not stop talking to me about open mics, like everybody.
I ran into Chris Warren, everybody, at a gas station, and he was like, where you been? You're going to start doing mics? And I'm like, well, you know how I feel about the mask. And he's like, he doesn't think it's going to be an issue at some places. So I was like, all right. And I've been, and there's a lot of things changed since the powers that be said, oh, as long as you have a vaccine, you don't have to wear a mask. When I go in places now, people just like don't even care. It's crazy.
Yeah,
and I was in like a small farm market with little greenhouses that was super liberal. They had like Black Lives Matter signs. The employee parking lot, I didn't see it, but it definitely had a lot of Subarus, if you get what I'm saying. And they were really nice to me. They were just like, oh, how are you? And they all had masks. It was like I had one on. It was great.
Who's Chris Warren?
I don't know. I didn't want to ask because usually I don't know who anyone is.
Oh, he's one of the comedians that was going to my open mic in Bridgeport that I was doing, but he gets around. He's like a short dude with a mustache.
I'm sure
he looks
I
like
I saw him probably.
If Briskin had a brother that had a mustache.
I don't know what Briskin looks like. Whenever you say Briskin, I always think of Adam Prue. Like they're all like the same human to me. Like they're just little gas. But like that's right. We just named 3 people nobody knows. But no, I haven't been to an open mic. I've been writing a lot of shit, and like they've seen, like I've got like a bunch of new material, but
Awesome.
I'm just working it on shows.
I've been writing a lot of stuff, but I just, I work on it at like with friends of mine on fucking Zoom or some shit. But yeah, it's I don't know. We'll see what happens.
So I would just like to share something.
There's tons of open mics. They're open. There's, I mean, every Wednesday, Johnny Benson's now running the Elbow Room. They've got one there.
Oh, nice.
They got one. I got a bunch in the Hartford area, and I know that what's the name of it? Someone's doing one in Hampton, right? Because they go Ben. That's where Ben goes.
Oh, okay, all right. I don't have.
There's one at like Christopher Martin's in New Haven, I think.
Oh, okay.
This is one of the one Ben keeps
Maybe
talking
I can
about.
find someone to pick me up or take my motorcycle. I don't know. Figure something.
Yeah, find out how Ben goes there. You guys should go there.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my truck fixed probably soon. Anyway, I'm working some gigs. Yeah.
It was
But
Ben
yeah, the
Ortiz's
Amish.
birthday the other day, so we should say happy birthday to Ben Ortiz.
Happy birthday, Ben
Happy
Ortiz.
birthday, Ben Ortiz.
He goes, yo, it's my birthday. I'm all depressed as fuck. Yo, Pat, what do I do? What do? Do I write? Is it true that all the best jokes and only good jokes come from being depressed and broken? I'm like, well, no. I'm confused. That's how it leaves. And then 3 days later, he's like, yo, Pat, I'm not going to go to open mic because I'm all depressed. I'm like, all right, then don't go. So I'm going to go. I'm like, all right. That's our conversations. It's always at like 5 in the morning. I'm just getting fucking cracked off. It's a good time. Where's his? Maybe find him.
So I had a question and I looked up the answer. The question was, do Amish people practice circumcision?
No.
And the answer I got from Google is we do not know. Amish who do not practice circumcision have a low rate of autism. Somali immigrants in Sweden practice circumcision and have a high rate of autism.
We should talk about circumcision one time on one of these podcast shows.
I hear it's connected to autism.
It's the last one. We should just do it all now.
Just get every one of them out of our system.
Wait, Dave, what you just said made no sense.
I was just reading.
No,
so
but I mean,
but
did you hear how you said it? The answer is we don't know. And then it gave 2 facts like you know.
Two facts about,
that you'd have to know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
That's
They
cool.
checked.
The ones who don't have autism.
Yeah. Those are the fact checkers.
How do we know? How do we know they have autism if we don't know if they're circumcised?
The question is, do they practice circumcision? So they just may go for it without any warm up. There's like, we probably got this.
Yeah, who's open micing circumcisions? You can't practice. You just do it. Hey, is that your law practice? How about your law do it right? How about that one there?
Well, they're definitely practicing medicine.
They are, but they're always practicing. They always got a new thing to work on.
Yeah.
Look at this 400-pound thing. Cut off its foot. See what happens.
It's like a traveling group of.
Did you try the magnet thing yet?
I did it on
here.
here.
You did it in here. It didn't work.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I literally still have the magnet on my fucking desk. I didn't put it back.
Oh, it was a fridge magnet. That's right. I remember now.
It was a fridge magnet. It was a fridge too far.
A fridge too far.
There it does. I said I don't know any Simpsons quotes, Dave, but there's the one I know.
Yep.
I got one for you, fatty. How about a fridge too far?
It's a fucking great show.
Anytime when you're shaming the fats, I know. So no, we went full circle. Let's come back. The
to poor people
church,
or to Amish?
Church stuff.
Okay.
Do any of you? I know, Brandon, David. Does anyone in your family, immediate family, go to church now?
Yes. Yes.
Like all the time or just sometimes?
Yep. No, like all the time. They're confirmed they did. And so the way it worked in my family was we went to a Catholic church, and apparently that's the way my mom grew up. But my dad and his side of the family, like all my cousins, they all went to a Lutheran church. So my family, my brother who goes to church now, he goes to Lutheran church. Like I didn't even know how you make the switch. He just did whatever he got to do, filled out the paperwork. And they go to the same church that all my cousins go to. And they're Lutheran.
Well, you just go. When
yeah,
you're an
apparently
adult, you could just go.
Well, it seems like a requisite should be like, are you this religion?
The only time you have to actually be part of it, I mean, I'm not 100% accurate on this, but pretty sure the only time as an adult that you have to be like part of it to the point where they know is if you're going to use it to get married. Then you need proof of things. And if you aren't, then they make you like when my father got married for the second time, my stepmom, she was not Catholic. So they get married in the Catholic church. First of all, they had to annul my mom's marriage to my dad. You have to go through that whole process where you pay. It's such a scam, but like pay money to say that in the eyes of God, this marriage never happened. It's like, yeah, but now we're just saying you're out of wedlock, whatever. But like, it's not true. It's obviously.
So you're a bastard.
There was all people there several times. There was, because my dad just keeps annulling things. But like, so you're supposed to do that. You have to pay money for an annulment. You have to write letters, and you have to ask the church, and you have to say the reasons why. Like I had to for my ex-wife to get married, I had to fill out things to say, like, to agree to it. And it was just like, not that I cared about it, but it was just like, there was a lot of things written in there at the time. Like, here's the reason why the marriage failed. And it's like, well, this isn't all 100% true, but okay, I guess I can fill this thing out. I'm like, it doesn't matter because I'll never need the fucking Catholic Church again. Even if I decide to ever get married in life, I'm not going to need the blessing of some fucking, group that's so high and mighty that they want you to pay for something. That's a pressure that you get from other families. But yeah, you have to get annulled. And then then my stepmom, who wanted to get married in the church, she had to, and as an adult, be baptized. We had to go to Hartford, and the Archbishop was there, and we had all these adults were there, and they fucking just baptizing a fucking ton of ass people. Buses are coming in. It's a huge thing in the Archdiocese, and they're doing all that, and she had to pay money to do that so she could get married, to do all that. And she found religion and she still goes to church and she likes it. So it's good for her for that, even though they've been divorced now and my dad's married his third time. But like, she found religion in that way. So I guess that's good for her in that sense. But it's just like, you're going through all this fucking shit for what? Like, it's very odd. So I think the only time, if you're Lutheran, you can just decide to go to Lutheran church. But if you want to be involved, I'm sure every church has their own way of getting club dues from you, whatever they have to do. They notice you. They're like, oh, you've been coming here. And if you go to a new church, I'm sure you're going to ask questions. You're going to go up to the priest or ask people like, hey, I'm very interested in this. You used to be that. Well, you need to take these classes like the children did. We have an adult, like Lutheran learning, whatever it is. It only costs you $50. You take those and you learn all the ways of us, whatever. And then we have some fancy ceremony and you give you the dumb hat and now you're fucking in or whatever.
The dumb hat's the best part.
Yeah, the dumb hat's the only part you're going for. It's the Boy Scouts, but it's God instead of just getting fingered. But that's all that churches are. It's just a way of, you're joining a club. How active you want to be in the club? You're going to go to bowling night and just play in a lane, or you're going to fucking be in a league and put a shirt on? Like, it's how active you're going to be is how much money you spend and how much you want to be involved in, or not even money wise, but time wise. Are you in the church? Do you just go to the church? Are you part of the men's group? Are you part of the ladies group? Are you going to be part of the festivals? Are you going to be part of here? The one going to be the usher pushing out the thing to get the money. Are you going to you need a stature? And that's how they start to get you. Because if you get a stature, then you feel like you need to give more. Do you just throw $1 in the thing? Or do you get those little things sent to you every week where you fill it out like almost like a check where you give them the envelopes so they know how much money to get out of you? At this point now, they almost do it through like a Venmo type process where they can get your money when you're not even there. They're learning how to thrive. Think about how crazy it is. The Catholic Church against gay marriage forever until straight people stopped getting married or got divorced so much and couldn't get married again, keep up the annulment things. Like, I'm paying all the shit. So now gay people get married in church. Oh, you think God just changed his fucking mind? You think it's happened? No, they realize weddings are the gayest thing in the goddamn world. It's all fancy and pretty and shit. They're like, this is what we should have been doing the whole goddamn time. So now the gays can get married in church because they were getting married outside of a church and they were losing that money. That's all it's fucking about. It's all, I think we've gotten this before. Religion is a wonderful thing if it can get you through life and help your head feel better. But when religion becomes a business, you should be able to do it on your own. Just study what the religions are, but not need to go somewhere and have people tell you need to do these things for these other things. That's where the bullshit happens.
Well,
that's why I got away from it.
Yeah, well, that's when it suffers the faults of man. I don't think religion is fine.
There should be no priest.
Yeah, I think it's more of an internal thing. That's what I tell people. That's why I don't identify with one certain religion, because aspects of all of them have the truth. They all contain it, I believe. It's just that there's other aspects, like you said, and you got to give us money.
I think they're all bullshit, but I think that's just only my opinion. I also, like I said many times, if someone else takes any of those things and it makes their mind quiet and it makes them get through life okay, and it makes sure that they don't fear death or whatever, or gets them through whatever, then please believe it. I'm not saying I'm right. I just don't believe any of it. I don't believe there's any magic source power dude, anything. I just don't. I just think we're just here. How did I get here? I don't give a fuck. I don't. I'm only going to be here for a blip. I'm like what everyone's been. And it's not my job to figure out how the fuck I got here or how I'm leaving. I'm just going to enjoy the ride while I'm there. And I don't care. But that's how I get through shit. I'm sure when I'm like 90 and I'm on a deathbed, I'll be like, oh my God, I should have learned these things. I better pray to God now because what if I have to die? That kind of shit. Sure, I'll be crying like a bitch then. But for now, fuck it. I don't care. And I don't buy into all that stuff. But I have met most of my family does, and I don't judge them. That's what helps them get through life. I'm just a heathen.
Yeah, I like that idea that religion I don't begrudge anyone from having their religion. I just know that according to all of them, I'm bad at it. I'm bad at their religion.
Yeah.
I eat
At
the
their religion.
pork. Yeah. I eat the pork. I do the sinning.
Yeah, but that's your religion.
Yeah.
Well, in my religion, sinning is only worrying and having fear, because basically you're not trusting God whenever you worry and have fear. So every time I start to worry and have fear, I just think about that and I stop worrying about it. I'd say, fuck it. It worked out before. I'm
Well,
here.
you're not Jewish.
It'll work out
Because
again.
the Jews worry you all the time. If we had to guess what Brandon is, not a Jew.
Not Khazarian.
Frankie Kazarian's a tremendous wrestler, by the way. He's very underrated. He's been doing it forever. He's tremendous.
Does he
I
trick
hear he's
anybody?
Jewish.
No, he has nothing to do with any of that.
Damn it, that'd be hilarious. If
A very handsome man. It looks kind of like Randy Orton. Really good. He's in AEW now. But it's I believe in beliefs. I've said that many times, but that's what I believe in.
Yeah, belief is very powerful.
If you want, whatever you believe in, it's good. Dave, if you think eating pork and having fun is good, but that makes you happy, but you do it in a way to bring yourself happiness and clear your mind and bring yourself peace, then go for it. But you shouldn't have someone telling you, no, the only way that you'll be perfect, the only way life will be good is this, this, and this. No one has a fucking manual on how to live life, so don't give me guidelines. You can give me suggestions, but that's the perfect religion would just allow us to do whatever we want to do and still accept us.
I think
Taoism.
I think that the idea of having a guideline.
Taoism, when you're a big fat piece of shit. Taoism.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the guy. There's nothing wrong with the guidelines. There's nothing wrong with the text. There's also, but there should be it's like learning anything else. All right. This is the way you do it. And then you take that information and you make decisions for yourself.
But see, the Catholic Church and other churches.
Right. I agree with you on the point of, but I don't think the idea of like, we should just all like that. Then what's the fucking point of having these institutions that could possibly give you peace?
Money.
No, but I'm saying, I get that. Money. I'm saying
it's a business, Dave.
Well, it's everything's.
The Catholic Church is the richest empire
in
the fucking world.
I get it. I just think religion gets a bad rap, and some of it, yes, it's definitely
because they murder.
Because religion falls
and they control and they silence.
Yes, and that's not the religion. That's men.
Well, see,
that's
is
people. That's
thing,
shitty
Dave.
People.
I'll shed a little bit of light.
Right,
and
that's what
making
religion
it bad.
is. That's why you ask why it gets.
I don't think religion is a bad idea. I don't.
Confusing words.
No,
religion.
I'm not.
No, religion is a thing. You can have beliefs and things like that. The religions, the things that the groups that they're in are all businesses. When you choose a religion, you're choosing to join and sponsor a business. Your beliefs, the things you're looking at, that's what you're talking about. But what religion are you? When you choose that, you're choosing a side, and that side has told you things and makes money and all this stuff. That's what they are. That's not religion, that's belief.
I get that, but what do you do when you believe stuff? You find people who share your beliefs and then you talk about it. You're like, oh, I like being around that. I like what you have to say. I agree with you. That's neat. Let's talk more about that.
And then one person comes into that business and tells you, you better do this and this.
Again,
and that's what I'm saying.
I agree with that horseshit part, but I think the idea of just to discount all of it, like, it's all just a fucking, everyone's there to stick you up the ass and everybody's there to take your money.
You just gave me a guideline in my life.
What's that?
You just said the part where my belief is that I think it's horseshit. And I literally just said, I don't think it's horseshit for everyone else, just for me. The first thing you did was religion. Well, Pat, that part's there, but that part that you believe in, don't do that.
No, I'm saying I agree with some of the finer points. What I'm hesitant to say is that religion is shit. I haven't figured that out yet.
Shit. I literally said everyone in my family believes in it, and I'm happy it gets them through everything. And I find out even the other. I would love if one of you guys actually watch one of these podcasts one time.
Well, I think what's going on is what
real quick, Brandon. Let me just finish this part because he just said to me. I literally said I'm probably wrong in this. That I even made a joke that when I'm 98 years old, I'll probably be praying to God and crying and stuff. I just said with what I've gone through and had to live through this and been put in and out of it my whole life and everything. I think it's horseshit for me, for my life, for my beliefs. It doesn't help me get through anything.
Okay.
I've actually been more stressed out, but I flat out said, I'm happy my stepmom found it. I'm happy my dad found it. I'm happy all my family members found it.
Okay.
It helps out with them. So I didn't say it was horseshit. I say the business part to me is the scam shit. And that part I don't like of the business part of it. But I never said it was horseshit. I said 100 times, beliefs are amazing.
Okay. Fair enough.
But you,
I
like
believe...
a religion, didn't fucking listen and tried to control me.
See, and there it is.
Boom, there it is.
No matter what, though, you can't be like, I think it's right for you. I think it's right for him. And then shit all over it. And then not expect someone to be like, oh, well, that doesn't sound like it's right for me. It sounds like, wait,
I don't
you know what? I would never eat that. You might enjoy it.
But I would never tell anyone to live like me. That's the difference. Religious people do that. Religious people turn around and say,
I agree.
You need to do this too. This is the way to live. I would never. I'm happy
Except
Brandon
for
searches this thing. I'm happy you have. And that gets to, I would never tell anyone how to do anything that I do. When I was losing weight and people are like, how'd you do it? I go, I'll suggest it to you, but I wouldn't tell you to do it because it works for me. I'm not a trainer. I don't know anything. It just works for me. I don't want anyone to follow my ways or do whatever. So
I 100% agree with the idea. I 100% agree with the idea of like, you shouldn't, you teach someone when they ask you, hey, how did you get to where you are? That's when you can start to say, oh, this is what worked for me. I 100% agree the idea of that. Like, okay,
even
this is the only way to do it.
I will kind of just go,
well, this is what I did
it, but I ain't giving you details. You got to learn it because I learned it. I had to learn it. You should
there's a saying that says many paths to the same mountaintop. And that's kind of what I guide it off of. And I say, basically what Pat's saying, it's just whatever you believe, it's all that matters. And you don't have to worry about what anyone else believes. And if you hold that state of mind, then it doesn't matter what anyone else believes, only to them, but to you, it won't. So then if you believe in something, Dave, like a higher power, and Pat thinks it's not true, then it's fine because you believe in higher power and it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. That's my state of mind, and
it will never affect how I live or my thoughts will ever affect how you live. You know what I mean? So
I get that. I think that's a good way to be.
Yeah,
I'm just
at the very beginning.
And just like Pat said, people in quote unquote religion, which is like a system of control, which to clarify a little bit, kind of what you guys are saying, they take these ideas, like Dave said, like people of a creator, right? Just of some kind of these ideas that might help people, might help a lot of people, but then they use them for money and for control and to make people do what they want. And it's been shown throughout history. So there's this fine line, it happens in the New Age movement too, like Buddhism and stuff, like you got to be very careful.
My basic point is that everybody's it's an idea that some people are taking and fucking up and some people are taking and making a good idea. And that's it. And that's why I'm just, someone's got to be in the corner of religion, and right now no one is. So what the fuck? I'll throw my hat in the ring.
Brandon is like the most spiritual person I know.
Well, no, spiritual and religious don't necessarily mean the same thing.
Well, that's what we're saying. But religion, the word religion to me is the business part of it.
Okay.
What religion? That's what I keep saying over and over again. So when you're using the word religion, when someone says, what religion are you? You're asking for your team, your business you work for. That's
okay. When I hear the word religion, what I start to think about is I start to think about the finer points. I start to think about like the mechanism for the faith, not necessarily the, I get what you're saying, the business. I'm saying the idea of, well, all I'm saying is I hear religion and I hear it's the mechanisms of faith, and that to totally discount it kind of discounts the faith. Those two things to me are hand in hand. And I 100% acknowledge. And to me, it's these are the fucking people who don't get the religion, the assholes who are out there to bilk you, the assholes who are taking advantage of someone who's looking for something greater in their life. And that's despicable, what you would call the business. And I 100% agree that's horseshit.
Really good.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people will get lost in that because they see that part of the bullshit. And if you get into astrotheology, you can see how all the religions are based on the stars, based on the sky clock, basically. Like the sun is the son of man and all this. The sky cock too. We got to watch out for that one.
I'll believe in that.
And what I was going to say to Dave,
cock just in space, I will believe in that all day. Is that what the Milky Way is? Just jizz? I will believe in that forever.
One of the constellations is a cock, I think.
I will give money to the sky cock forever.
We got a new religion inbound.
We've got to make it bigger.
We got to make it bigger. So
that'd be the best Christmas. You just give money until it explodes, just bukkakis all over you. Oh yeah, I'm in for sky cock. They think snow is jizz. Oh yeah, I'm in.
It snowed so hard this year.
You
It
could
was
still
crazy,
keep the Big Bang.
Yeah, that's how we got here. Every
That's right.
week.
Every human. Big
One
Bang.
Every week there's a new Big Bang. That's how you get baptized. But you're a 24-year-old woman. Even if you're not, that day you dress up like a 24-year-old woman and you get the Sky Cock and the Big Bang Theory.
Dave, what I was going to say to you is a way to refer to what some of these beliefs are. You could say their cosmology. So you could say, like, what's your cosmology? This way, instead of saying like your religion or whatever, because then
like when you go to makeup school.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. There's a reason.
I knew a girl did that. Then she also pretended to be a nurse, and then now she's, I think, does drugs. But anyway,
she went to makeup school and then showed up and was like, "Well, it's kind of like being a nurse. Yeah. Give me a clipboard.
We can wear it in blue."
What's your cosmology? Meth.
What other things can I do with these scrubs I had my boyfriend buy for me? Can you be a mechanic? I don't know. I've got a couple of lube jobs in my day. I don't like the part where people, like my dad does it. He'll ask people, about church and then try to get, a lot of people want to recruit. I understand that. They don't even mean money wise. Yeah. It's just that they're so happy with their belief that they believe their way is the only way. Some people get so into it that they think that's the only way. When people tell you, like, when you ever talk to a person and they just go, well, it's God's way, and that's just God's path. It's like, you're not giving people the benefit of the doubt. It's good to have that thing. You could believe that God, and that's where I tune out. That's their way, fine, but I'm happy my brain isn't that dopey where I can't just go, well, we were lost and then God got me here. Like, no, we fucking used a satellite in the sky, the Sky Cock, sent us the right way to get there. It wasn't God doing it, or we didn't know how we were going to pull it off, but Junior finally got into college. He studied real hard. You yelled at him a whole bunch, and he fucking got in because you were going to throw him out if he didn't do it. It wasn't God. You were mean. But it's like God's way. I give him credit for it. But some people think there's the things like, you won't find, oh, you're sad right now? You need religion. It's like, well, I mean, maybe I need a distraction. Maybe I need to believe. Maybe that's great. But let me find it, because whenever anyone tries to push their beliefs, religion or otherwise, on me, my first question is, how did you find it? Now, if they tell me that they found it because it was their family, I'm like, well, you were raised into it. I wasn't raised into it. So I'm going to have to find my own way. I don't have that from being a baby and being put in my head and seeing exposed to everything. Like, naturally, it's not there. But if you tell me someone else came up to you and did it, I'm like, oh, you're like an Amway salesman. You don't mean to be, but you're kind of pyramid scheming me into your church to get more people. But if you just say, hey, I read it, like Brandon said, I read a bunch of books. I did all this and that, whatever. And this is what I've chosen from here and there. I go, oh, then you know what? How about you let me do that path? Can you suggest a couple books I can read? Can you suggest a website? Yeah. Then if I have the interest, great. But if not, you're just like, tell me I did this thing and I better have this thing. I'm like, not me.
That's 100%. That's what I was saying before. The idea of, if you go out proselytizing and saying, like, selling exactly like you said, well, then fuck off. But if you live a life and I come up to you and like, I like what you do, how can I do that? Okay, now you can start. Give me your pitch.
And then I go,
this is what worked for me.
Fuck you. I'm me, baby. You ain't gonna be me. I don't care where you fucking give your money. Fuck off. I'm me, baby. Fucking learn your own shit. But no, but like, and to be clear, like, I don't even care if it's people that work for church or not. It's like, there are people that just are so into church, they feel like they need to tell everybody about church, and they think you need that, and they feel bad for people, or they judge. Well, that's not. It's because they don't have God. It's like, that's why they're this way, and that's fucked up, because that person's also, you become a judgmental fuck. You actually become the thing you're not supposed to be in the eyes of your Lord.
But that's the same thing. If, like, that, you can replace any word, and it's the same thing. Like, oh, you ain't got big black cock. You need big black cock in your life. You would be so fulfilled if you got big black cock.
I've seen big black cock change people's lives. I've never seen God do it. I've heard about God doing it. I've seen big black cock change a room.
Well, I think that's the step process: is big black cock, then you see God, and then you're right where you need to be.
That's the only way that I believe. If I did believe there was a God, he's black and his dong is magnificent.
Sky cock.
Sky cock. That's our new religion. Sky cock. Women right now, like, why can't it be sky pussy? I'm like, oh, really, sky pussy? Why would it be in the sky? The pussy's in the ground where it belongs. The sky, every once a year, the sky cock crashes into the fucking land cunt, just destroys it, and that's how we get new land. That's how the seasons change. All the moisture.
It's a lot of moisture.
The religion of Sky Cock.
That's when big black Sky Cock comes flying into you. To that tight fucking virgin earth.
Everybody's got to do their part to keep the Sky Cock up in the sky and not let it get soft, because then we'll all pay.
This winter, everyone's gonna be like,
it'll crush us all.
They're gonna be like, Brandon, I thought you loved the snow. Why aren't you going out this year? You're not going hiking and stuff in the sno anymore. I'm like, no, guys, I stay inside when it snows now.
Because I had some snow hit me in the mouth and I'm pregnant. I don't even know what that means. That's the part, like the belief things where it's like, I liked it back in the day. Like we read about when people were so fucking on board because there was nothing else. It's just like, we've got to sacrifice Daryl. Like what? Yeah. He's the weak one. We've got to kill Daryl or fucking we won't have meat. Like what? And they're all like, yeah, let's kill Daryl's like, how about not Daryl? Like, oh, too bad, Daryl. Hey, lady, you're a witch. Why? Because you wouldn't sleep with fucking Steve over there. Yeah, Steve's mean. I don't want to. Why do I? Steve wants to bed you. That's what Steve does. It's like, well, I don't want to do that. Well, guess what? We're lighting you on fire. Like, what? Is there another option? No. How about I fuck everyone but Steve? No. Yes, but no. We can't tell anyone. We're all married since we were 12.
Pat, you got a good point. Religion was the original scientific method. Hey, we got good crops. What happened? Well, we killed that virgin. All right, let's burn the whores and see what happens. Pestilence.
Yeah. Religion was the first time where people could say, where people learned about abusing power. It really was, if you really think about it. Because they could use it. They got people to believe in things, especially people that didn't have, if anyone had a bit of smarts, they could wise up with the people that didn't know how to read or do anything. And they just lived literally and they told them, well, you can't have this and this without this. And they're like, oh, you're right. I need that. And you have too much of this. So you know what? Let me speak with your wife, Jebediah. If I speak with your wife and she comes and shares a bed with me, then God will be happy because I'll be through her and it'll be good. And all of a sudden he's like, yeah, go be with each other. It's okay. It's not like I've ever met any other women. I just know this one lady because I only know her because the rest of her family died of scurvy around me. And now she just lives with me because she was just there. So yeah, you can have that. And that's the part. Or they're doing the dance for rain. That anything like that is just like, I'm sorry, but that's just like, right. What do you do? It's not one point where you're like, hey, yeah, like this can't work. I've seen it rain without this.
Pat, you and I 100% differ on the power of dance.
No, dance can get you laid. It can make it rain.
Oh, it's gonna make it rain.
Right. Once again, the
on
black
your face.
I've seen dance make women lose their pants. I've never seen God do that. I've seen somebody say, God will kill you unless you fucking let me fuck you. And that's some guy being a dickhead. But yeah, dance can work. Real people doing real things can make things happen. And if you want to say that God taught you how to dance, maybe your beliefs let you believe in yourself so you could learn how to dance. And maybe that structure comes from that. But God didn't teach you. You taught you. That's the part where I get fucking all bothered by it.
I don't know. If you saw me dance, you'd be like, yeah, God.
I just said it. No, I'd be saying no. What happened is you got enough belief in yourself. The few times that your mom wasn't gambling, and she was there and like, all right, she's like, but Mom, I can't go to dance school this week. Yeah, I know. I spent all the money. Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, Dance on Air. Was that the rhyme? Yeah, Fred Astaire.
Yeah, that's the line.
What was before Fred Astaire?
Gene Kelly, Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, Dance on Air.
I follow dance people on Instagram. I like the new
dance
people. Yeah. There's one guy named B Dash who's really good. It's a lot of that moving the arm shit with two people and they're doing the same shit. It's not really robot, but it's when the modern day it is now. There's a lot of enjoyable people on there. I like watching that kind of shit. See, you wouldn't know that about me because I'm interested in everything. Yo. Any other things on this? Can we go away now?
No, I think we solved it.
Didn't solve anything.
Yeah,
there was no crime.
The Amish, the poor.
We didn't talk about the poor at all.
Fuck.
Like once we said we were going to the poor, and then we went into religion, blacks.
We get into religion and blacks a lot.
And black religions.
Because they're both loud.
Especially the black religions.
Oh, man. I bet we didn't get to that part. You ever been to a black mass?
No.
I have twice. It's weird because they're all, half of them are like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Is this a cop? Like, who is this white guy? And then the other ones are just like, we're so happy you're here. And they're like so excited that you're there. But they want you to know all the moves and be involved. And like, I'm here to watch. You know, like, nope, I don't do that shit. And then it's weird. It's a weird move. But they're into it. They're fucking into it. Even if they don't want to be into it. I've seen kids get whacked because they weren't dancing enough. And everyone's fine with it. It's like, you better keep dancing for the Lord. I'm like, oh, the Lord needs the old soft shoe.
We need more Holy Ghost.
Yeah, they're into it, but it's loud. It's way less boring than the Catholic Mass. Catholic Mass is boring.
Catholic Mass is boring.
It's because it's not supposed to be fun, son. It's supposed to be.
Yeah, I do think that's horse shit. The idea of like worship is not supposed to be joyful. That's fucking dumb. That's just dumb.
Dying for your sins isn't joyful either.
Yeah, but you get to have the joy of committing those sins. Sinning is fun.
But think about every religion that has that basis. Every religion that has someone died for your sin. They died for you. Okay, they ended their life, but they had a magic trick. Okay, so they could come back. They knew. You don't think he knew? He knew. I always will believe that story. He really was just back then David Copperfield or whatever. He was David Blaine. He was a magic man. He went around. He did some moves. He had friends with him. What's he doing? Well, think about the tricks. They wouldn't even be cool now. I made one fish into like several fish. That's just like pulling the fucking rabbit out of a hat and some bullshit. It's all walking on water. Really? Yeah. You had like a little platform there. People were dopes. You had the sunshine the right way, so you couldn't see there was an island there. That's what's happening. Look at me, the big one. What is David Copperfield doing? They put me up in this fucking tank and I'll get out of it. Put me on this cross and 3 days later I'll fucking come out and I'll be all rock stars. They were magic. They're magicians. That's it. Come see Jesus live.
He made how many fish? He made how many fish? Several.
He'd go to your town, find your local cripple and make him walk. Really? Really? That's what he did? Or was there a guy who really wasn't crippled who wasn't on the ship? Because remember, Jesus was a Jew. A trickster Jew.
He was pre-Khazarian.
Pre-Khazarian. PK. Pre-Khazarian, the Jew. All right. Dave, tell him things.
Yeah. Got some shows coming up. Places that I don't know where they are.
What? Why don't you know where your shows are?
Yeah, because it's all on my phone, and my phone is my camera, so I can't look it up. I'll be in Hopewell, Massachusetts. I'll be in Hopewell, Massachusetts, and
Hobo, Massachusetts.
No, Hopewell.
Oh,
Hobo, Massachusetts would be awesome. That would be fucking fantastic.
He might be in Hobo later.
Walk in with a can of beans and be their king.
Everyone gets a free stick with a neckerchief. How do you get there? You ride the rails and you hope for the best.
There's no roads, just rails everywhere.
Road less traveled is one underwear less skid marked. So you have shows. Where can they find out your shows? Do you have a website? Why are you?
Found out that davehandscomedy.com is no longer a thing. So you can go to, apparently they get real pissed when you stop. So that domain name is open. You can find Dave Hintz Comedy on Facebook, and I'll post some shit there.
Brandon,
check out my tarot podcast at tarotbowl tarotbull.com. We've been having on some really fun guests recently, and buy my book at shadowworked.com.
Get on over my Patreon, the Paddock's Patreon. Sign up for less than $3 a month, or $3 a month. You get like 15 shows a fucking month. That's ridiculous. It's a lot of shit on there. And you see this show, my 3 other shows. I have my stand-up comedy on there. There's a bunch of things. So join that. If you don't want to do that, go on to YouTube, Paddock's YouTube. Subscribe to that. And Silk City Hot Sauce. I didn't bring you involved because it got too weird, but we love you. And everybody knows about it. I talk about it all the time. If you want, you got Memorial Day coming up. You got barbecues, things like that. You won't be the asshole. What do you want to have? Just fucking Hellman's like a dickhead? You fucking mustard like a loser? You want good shit. You want bottles people look at and think it's cool. Things that they get a conversation starter because you're a piece of shit and you don't know how to talk to people and you hate your family. So you go on SilkCityHotSauce.com. You order all a bunch of custom kinds of sauces that you can have out there. That people will be like, oh, this is cool and great names and tasty and all that. They can try things and have fun. All the chicken wings, and try it with all that kind of shit. Use the promo code POS, you save 15%. So get on there, do that for Memorial Day. And I'm gonna go find God now. Hopefully he's in the bathroom because that's where I'm gonna be. All right. Goodbye, everyone.